Chosen one. Everything just stopped for you. This isn't random. Heaven has interrupted your ordinary moment to deliver something that cannot wait. There are no coincidences here, only divine precision. Every second that has led you to this screen has been stitched by unseen hands. You have felt it building inside you, the tension between who you were and who you are becoming. The nights of restless thought. The sense that something greater is calling your name, even when you don't have the words for it. That isn't imagination. That's destiny trying to speak. You were never meant to move with the crowd. You were built to move the crowd. You don't blend because you were never designed to. You carry a frequency that disturbs mediocrity. Every setback you faced wasn't punishment, it was alignment. Heaven was shaping you into someone darkness would recognize and fear. There are seasons when God hides his strongest soldiers in plain sight. You've been walking through one. People misunderstood your silence. They thought you gave up, but you were simply being refined. The wilderness has a sound, the hum of transformation. What felt like isolation was preparation. Your pain has been a language heaven speaks fluently. Each disappointment carved out depth, making more room for revelation. Every rejection stripped away distractions until only purpose remained. And now, heaven says, enough hiding. Left. It is declared in the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 13. Now I will break their yoke from your neck and tear your shackles away. The breaking has begun. The chains that kept you tied to fear, to shame, to delay, they are snapping in the spirit. You may not hear it with your ears, but your soul feels it. Something is shifting. Chosen one. This message isn't just to inspire you, it's to awaken you. The enemy fought your confidence because he knew what would happen when you finally believed the truth about yourself. He tried to bury your voice under comparison and exhaustion, but even buried seeds know how to rise. You have been through storms that should have silenced you. Yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still curious enough to listen. That's not weakness, that's proof. The same power that raised Jesus from the dead has kept you alive for this exact minute. Think of the seed beneath the soil. It looks like it's dying, but something sacred is happening in the dark. Roots are forming. Pressure is producing promise. You've been in that stage. And now heaven is saying, grow upward. Don't despise the breaking. It's how freedom sounds. The news that breaks you isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to rebuild you into who you were destined to be. Sometimes, God allows everything familiar to fall apart so that nothing counterfeit remains. Listen closely. The countdown has already begun. You don't have forever to wander in hesitation. Heaven counts moments differently, not in minutes, but in obedience. Every time you delay your yes, you postpone deliverance. Not just for yourself, but for others, waiting on your obedience. Someone else's breakthrough is attached to your courage. The people connected to your destiny are standing on the edge of freedom, waiting for you to move first. When you rise, they will rise. When you speak, they will find their voice. You've been wondering why life feels heavier lately. It's because your spirit is expanding, stretching into a new dimension. Growth is uncomfortable when you've outgrown the walls you built to protect yourself. But those walls have turned into cages, and heaven is breaking them down. This is your divine interruption, the point where destiny overrides distraction. Don't scroll past it. Don't silence what you feel stirring in your chest. That trembling inside isn't fear, it's the sound of your chains loosening. God has been closer than you thought. In the silence, He's been whispering strategy. In the delay, He's been building discipline. And in the breaking, He's been setting you free. Chosen one. This is your sign. The yoke of limitation is being shattered. The version of you that doubted, that second-guessed, that apologized for shining, it's ending here. You are stepping into the hour heaven scripted for you before the beginning of time. If these words strike something deep inside you, respond not to me, but to the one who sent this moment. Tap like, share this message forward to light another soul's way, and comment 777 below as a sign of alignment. This is your awakening. Heaven is waiting for your yes. Every click, every breath, every heartbeat right now is part of your response. The heavens are watching for movement, not perfection. Rise, lift your head, and walk through the doorway that just opened. The countdown hasn't ended, it's only begun. And your story starts here. You have been marked. Chosen one, not by ink or by scar, but by spirit. Before anyone recognized your potential, heaven placed a seal upon you, an invisible signature that distinguishes you from the rest. It cannot be erased, imitated, or ignored. That seal carries both protection and purpose. It is the silent evidence that you belong to something eternal. In the book of Ephesians, chapter 1, verse 13, it is written, "When you believed, you were marked in Him with a seal, the promised Holy Spirit." That moment of belief, whether whispered through tears or shouted through joy, was not small. It was the instant the heavens recorded your name. You were no longer just living, you were enlisted. The seal of the Spirit is not an ornament, it is ownership. You have been claimed by the King of Glory Himself. From that day, the battle changed. The enemy stopped fighting what you did and started fighting who you are. Because he knows something most people don't. Once you are sealed, you are dangerous. Every time you step into a room, the unseen realm reacts. Light recognizes light, and darkness trembles at it. You may not see the mark, but the spiritual world does. Angels identify you by it. Demons avoid it or attack it, hoping you never realize how powerful that mark truly is. The seal isn't just a symbol of belonging, it's a shield of identity. It declares, "This one is spoken for. Go." Think of a royal letter sealed with wax. No one opens it except the one it's addressed to. If broken by another hand, it's an act of war. That's how heaven guards you. There's a divine warning over your life. Do not touch the anointed. But being sealed doesn't mean being spared from struggle. It means the struggle now has purpose. The storms you faced weren't evidence of abandonment. They were confirmation of selection. The mark you carry attracts both favor and resistance. Oil draws flies as much as it anoints kings. You may have wondered why betrayal found you, why misunderstanding followed you, why certain people couldn't stay. It's because the seal makes you incompatible with anything counterfeit. You carry a vibration that exposes what isn't real. Some were never rejecting you, they were reacting to the light within you. Even your silence speaks. When you walk away from chaos instead of feeding it, the seal shines. When you forgive instead of retaliate, the seal glows brighter. The Holy Spirit's presence in you is not just comfort, it's confirmation. It whispers, You are still mine. Oh, there was a time you doubted this. You thought your mistakes could unmark you, that your failures erased the divine imprint. But the seal isn't fragile. It doesn't dissolve under guilt or fade under shame. It's pressed by grace, not by worthiness. The same God who sealed you knew every weakness you would wrestle with and still called you chosen. There's a rhythm that comes with being sealed. It's a life lived by inner direction rather than outer approval. You begin to sense when something isn't aligned, when a conversation drains your peace, when a path looks right but feels wrong. That's the mark speaking. It guides, protects, and warns. Some days, it feels heavy, the constant awareness that you can't go back to who you were. But that weight isn't a burden, it's authority. You carry something sacred, and sacred things are never meant to be careless. You are learning the discipline of those who bear fire without being consumed. Picture a soldier entrusted with a royal insignia. Every movement matters because he carries the king's emblem. That's you. Heaven has entrusted you with influence beyond what you see. People around you may never know it. But something shifts when you enter their space. You are a walking declaration that God still marks people for divine purpose. The seal is also a promise, a down payment on eternity. It's the whisper that says, "You're not finished yet." It holds you steady when life feels unstable. When everything else fades, the mark remains, reminding you that heaven has already made its claim. So walk differently, speak carefully, move intentionally. You are not common, and your steps are not random. The Spirit within you is both compass and companion. You have been set apart, not to stand above others, but to lift them higher. Chosen one. Understand this truth. Being marked doesn't make you perfect, it makes you purposed. And purpose always draws pressure before it brings peace. But through it all, your seal remains unbroken. Your name still known. Your destiny still secure. There are seasons when the heavens go quiet, and you start to wonder if the silence means you've been forgotten. But it doesn't. Silence is the sound of God working in secret. When heaven seems still, it's not because nothing is happening, it's because everything is being rearranged. The waiting isn't punishment, it's precision. What you call delay, heaven calls design. When God is building something meant to last, He works beneath the surface. You are in that hidden construction zone right now. Every unanswered prayer is being built into a foundation you can stand on. You've been faithful in dark places, holding on to promises that seemed too faint to follow. You didn't realize it. But that kind of endurance rewrites your spiritual DNA. You're not who you were last year. You've become stronger, quieter, wiser. Heaven celebrates the unseen victories you've won in silence. There's something sacred about endurance. It separates the chosen from the casual. You've been refined in a furnace others would not have survived. That's why the next season won't intimidate you. You've already met worse and made it through. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 30, verse 5. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Joy isn't distant, it's hidden in the same soil as your tears. Every cry has been watering the very seed that will become your breakthrough. That's why the enemy tried to silence you, because your weeping was prophecy in motion. You are stepping into the chapter where God explains what didn't make sense before. The pain that once confused you will now confirm His plan. The delay that exhausted you will prove to be divine timing. Every detour was actually direction. Think of the butterfly cocoon. From the outside, it looks like stillness, but inside is violent transformation. That's what's happening in you. The pressure, the confinement, the isolation it's forming, wings. Don't rush the process. Wings built too quickly tear in flight. Chosen one. When the time comes, your emergence will be quiet, but undeniable. No announcement, no spotlight, just steady radiance. People will ask, "When did you change?" And you'll smile because you know it wasn't sudden. It was sacred. You've been faithful in secret, and God is about to honor you in public. But remember, your reward is not applause, it's alignment. The greatest miracle isn't the door that opens, it's the peace you now carry wherever you go. You'll notice the shift. The anxiety that once ruled, you will lose its power. The voices that used to haunt you will fade. The same places that once drained you will no longer reach you. That's what happens when transformation becomes complete. Old chains no longer fit new wrists. Your story isn't a tragedy. It's a testimony under construction. Every crack, every scar is evidence that grace has been working overtime. And when you speak, you'll speak from scars that shine, not wounds that bleed. The silence of God has been your classroom, and you've passed the test. What you learned there cannot be taught by sermons. It's learned through survival. You've been learning the rhythm of divine delay, and it's about to make sense. So, don't lose heart. You're closer than you think. The dawn doesn't announce itself loudly, it simply replaces the dark. That's what's happening right now. Quietly, but completely. If this word echoes inside your spirit, type, "Light returns." Write it as a declaration, not a comment, as a signal to heaven that even in the shadows, you choose to believe. Because faith isn't noise, it's steady light that refuses to die out. And that light is returning to you now. Light returns, and when it does, it doesn't just reveal the path ahead, it also exposes what can't come with you. Some relationships, habits, and old versions of yourself will fade in the brightness. Don't chase them. When light increases, shadows naturally retreat. That isn't loss, it's purification. This new light will also make your purpose unmistakable. Where confusion once reigned, clarity will rise. You'll begin to sense where to step next. Not by fear or guesswork, but by alignment. Every decision will start to feel guided because the spirit within you is illuminating the way. And as that inner glow grows, others will notice. They'll ask what changed. And your answer won't be long. It will be lived. You won't need to convince anyone of your calling. Authenticity has its own volume. The evidence will speak louder than explanations. So walk forward without hesitation. The night did its job. It taught you resilience. The dawn now does its own. It invites you to live it out. Light returns. And this time, it's staying. You've walked through seasons that felt like endless rain, storms that refused to end. You prayed for clear skies. But instead, the thunder grew louder, and yet, through every storm, something unbreakable was being forged within you. The world saw the shaking, but heaven saw the shaping. There's a reason the storms came when they did. Every time the wind howled, heaven was testing the strength of your foundation. What you thought was destruction was actually exposure. Storms don't just reveal weakness, they reveal what was built on truth. You survived what others could not, because your roots went deeper than pain. God never promised calm seas, He promised His presence in the boat. There were nights when you felt like you were sinking, gasping for peace that wouldn't come. But even in the chaos, grace held the edges of your sanity together. Every time you whispered, "I can't do this anymore," something inside you replied, "Yes, you can." That voice wasn't your own, it was the whisper of the one who never left. As it is written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 25, when the storm has swept by, the wicked are gone, but the righteous stand firm forever. Oh, the storm was never sent to kill you, it was sent to clarify you. It stripped away what was unstable so that only truth remained. You learned who you could count on. You discovered what actually matters. And in losing so much, you found yourself. There's something sacred about the eye of the storm. In the center of chaos, everything goes silent. It's strange, peace unnatural, still, holy. You learned to breathe there, to wait there, to believe there. That stillness was heaven's classroom. You learned not just how to survive, but how to be still and know. Every storm leaves behind evidence, fallen branches, washed out roads, broken pieces of what once was. But look again, the ground is softer now, ready for new seeds. The destruction wasn't final. It was preparation. The soil of your life is now fertile for growth that couldn't have taken root before. You may not have realized it, but storms are divine translators. They take the language of pain and turn it into wisdom. After every loss, you learned a new dialect of faith, one that doesn't depend on comfort, one that knows how to worship in the wind. That's a language the heavens recognize instantly. You've changed. You're quieter now, but stronger. The things that used to trigger panic no longer move you. You've learned to discern between noise and the voice of God. That's maturity. That's growth. And that's what storms do. They age your soul until peace becomes your default, not your pursuit. Sometimes, peace doesn't look like the absence of trouble. It looks like calm eyes in the middle of it. You've carried that kind of peace without realizing it. You walk differently now because you've met the wind and survived its roar. The world calls it resilience. Heaven calls it authority. Every scar left by the storm is sacred. Don't hide them. Scars are testimonies written in the language of endurance. They say, "I've been through fire and rain, and I'm still standing." The storm tried to define you, but instead, it refined you. There was a moment, maybe recently, when you thought you'd reached the breaking point. The pressure was too much, the noise too loud. But that's exactly where transformation happens, at the edge of breaking. Heaven bends low to meet you there, turning, breaking into birthing. Now, you are emerging from the wreckage, not as a victim, but as a vessel. You've seen what storms can do, but you've also seen what faith can withstand. You are the evidence that not every ending is tragic. Some endings are transitions. The clouds are clearing. The air is lighter. You may still see fragments of what was lost, but don't mistake debris for defeat. What's left is what's meant to last. Chosen one. The storm didn't pass to leave you empty. It passed to prove that nothing can uproot what God plants. You're still here, not by chance, but by design. The winds have quieted. The rain has slowed. and your soul can finally breathe again. You've learned to trust the one who commands both the storm and the silence. And now, as the sun rises over the ruins, you realize you never truly lost anything essential. You only lost what couldn't come with you. And as you stand beneath the clearing sky, you understand peace was never the absence of storms. It was the presence of purpose, guiding you through every wave toward the calm meant for you. You have walked through the storm, felt the weight of silence, and now you stand under a sky that is finally clear. The air feels different, thinner, lighter, almost sacred. You take a deep breath, and for the first time in a long time, it feels like you can actually exhale. The pressure is gone. The weighting has shifted. You are no longer the same person who entered the storm. You have been reshaped by the wind. You may not see it, but something about you glows differently now. Heaven has touched your spirit in ways you cannot fully explain. When light meets surrender, it leaves a mark, not on your skin, but on your soul. People around you will sense it. They will see peace in your eyes before you say a word. As it is written in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 12, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. That light now burns inside you. It's the same flame that led Moses through the desert, the same fire that fell upon the disciples, the same glow that has guided every chosen one through history. You carry it within you, a lantern that never goes out. But remember, light was never meant to be hoarded. It was meant to be shared. Think of it like a candle. When one flame lights another, it doesn't lose its brightness. Instead, the room becomes warmer, the darkness thinner. That is how heaven's message spreads from one illuminated heart to another. When you share what touches you, you aren't promoting a message, you are multiplying light. So if this message has reached you today, let it move through you. Tap like. Share this with someone walking through their own night. And subscribe if you want to stay connected to this growing circle of light. Every gesture, no matter how small, is a spark that keeps the flame alive. And there is something else, something deeply human and holy about generosity. When we give, we don't lose, we align with the rhythm of heaven, where everything flows freely. The ocean doesn't withhold its waves, and the sun doesn't ration its light. They give, because giving is their nature. You were created in that same divine pattern. So, when you feel moved, not pressured, not obligated, but stirred, consider planting a seed back into the soil that nourished you. Think of it not as a transaction, but as watering the garden that feeds others. A donation is not payment, it's partnership. It keeps the light burning brighter, reaching hearts that are still in the dark corners you once knew. Imagine it this way. Generosity is like adding oil to a lamp. It doesn't create the flame, but it allows it to keep burning through the long night. Somewhere out there, someone is standing at the edge of giving up. Your quiet act of support becomes the invisible wick that helps their light rise again. You may never see their face, but heaven records your kindness as light extended. This isn't about money, it's about movement. It's about ensuring the river of hope never runs dry. Every drop matters. Every seed counts. Just as a single lantern can guide a traveler through the night, your contribution keeps this voice alive, speaking life into others who have forgotten how to hope. If your heart feels a quiet nudge, let it be between you and God. Give what feels right, even if it's small. A single seed, when sown with sincerity, grows forests unseen. The gesture itself is what heaven honors. And if now isn't your time to give, your presence still matters. Your listening heart, your prayers, your willingness to keep walking forward, all of it fuels this mission. Light has many forms, and not all of them are financial. Some shine through kindness, some through words, some through simple attention. Chosen one. What we are building together isn't just a community, it's a constellation. Each like, each share, each act of generosity becomes a star lighting up the darkness of this world. The more we connect, the brighter the sky becomes. So thank you for staying, for listening, for believing that messages like this still matter. You are part of something bigger than any of us can see. And as you leave this moment, remember, you don't carry an obligation, you carry light. Let it move freely. Let it find others. Because the true proof that light lives in you is that it never stops shining through you. There are times when the world roars so loudly that it drowns the still, small voice that has been guiding you all along. You try to make sense of noise, of problems, opinions, chaos, but deep inside, something keeps urging you to stop, to listen again. That whisper, steady and unmistakable, isn't coming from around you, it's coming from above you. It's the voice behind the storm. God doesn't always speak in thunder. More often, He speaks in moments when everything else falls silent. The problem is that the modern world fears silence. It fills it with constant sound, constant distraction. But those who are chosen, those who are marked, eventually learn that silence isn't emptiness, it's invitation. The ancient record in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verses 11 and 12, reveals, the Lord said, "Go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. Awaken. That gentle whisper is how heaven speaks to hearts that are ready, not through force, but through presence. It doesn't shout to be heard, it waits to be recognized. The challenge is that storms are persuasive. Their volume convinces you that they hold meaning. You panics. You react. You try to fix everything. But storms are temporary teachers. They exist to remind you that peace doesn't come from calm circumstances, it comes from communion. You've faced storms that tried to drown your sense of direction. Every problem felt urgent. Every voice demanded attention. Yet somehow, deep inside, there was always a quiet knowing, an inner map that pointed you home. That map wasn't made of logic, it was made of faith. You've been guided by a compass others can't see. When Elijah stood on that mountain, he was exhausted, overwhelmed, and convinced he was alone. The noise around him echoed his inner chaos. But the whisper came not to explain the storm, but to remind him of his purpose beyond it. God didn't shout commands. He whispered, identity. You've been there too, standing among the winds of uncertainty, wondering what still stands when everything else breaks. But when the roar fades, You begin to hear something sacred, your name spoken by love, not by judgment. The same voice that formed the stars still knows how to find you. Sometimes the voice behind the storm doesn't say what you expect. It doesn't always fix the circumstance. It fixes your focus. It reminds you that while chaos shouts, truth still whispers, and those whispers are stronger than the wind. Chosen one, you have to learn the discipline of stillness. The world rewards movement, but heaven rewards attentiveness. The quiet soul hears what noise can't reveal. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means trusting enough to stop forcing everything. There was a man who once said he only heard God clearly after he stopped begging and started breathing. He realized that prayer wasn't a speech, it was a conversation. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do in prayer is to listen instead of talk. That's where revelation lives, in the spaces between words. Every storm that once frightened you has taught you this. You don't need perfect peace around you to find peace within you. You only need awareness, the confidence that the same God who stood with Elijah stands with you. His presence is not fragile. His voice does not vanish when the thunder grows. And sometimes, he will even speak through the storm itself. The sound of the rain hitting your window, the pause between lightning and thunder, the moment the wind calms, these are sermons written in motion. Creation still obeys its creator. And every sound is part of a larger symphony that sings, "You're not alone." So next time the world grows loud, don't rush to silence it. Instead, ask, what are you saying through this? The whisper will come, and when it does, it won't just calm the storm, it will change you in the middle of it. If these words resonate in your spirit, comment 444 below, not as a reaction, but as recognition that you hear the whisper again. 444 symbolizes divine stability, the foundation that stands when everything else shakes. It's your way of saying, I hear you behind the wind, and I am listening. And because the voice that speaks behind the storm is never gone, it's just waiting for the noise to end. There are seasons that feel like standing still while the world rushes ahead. You pray. You wait. You wonder if anything is moving at all. The clock seems louder, and every unanswered prayer echoes like an accusation. But the truth is, heaven's timing is never measured by your impatience. What feels like delay is often design. Waiting is not a punishment, it is a preparation. The pause is not empty, it is sacred ground where strength is formed quietly, like the seed buried in darkness, unseen but alive. Your purpose is developing in silence. Growth always happens before visibility. You are in the middle of that holy process right now. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." And the waiting you despise is the exact soil where endurance grows. God delays not to deny, but to define. What you call silence, heaven calls shaping. Every slow season has its purpose. It's the stretch that makes room for what's coming. When the promise finally arrives, you'll see that every quiet moment was necessary. Consider the story of a woman named Ray. For years, she prayed for change, yet nothing seemed to shift. Friends moved forward, doors opened for others, and she felt forgotten. But one morning, as she looked back, she realized something unexpected. Her faith had matured. Her roots had gone deep. The same stillness that once frustrated her had built her endurance, and when her moment came, she recognized it immediately, not with surprise, but with peace. You've walked that same path in your own way. Waiting seasons have stretched your trust until it could no longer depend on outcomes. You've learned to hope without seeing, to worship without reward, to believe without proof. That's not weakness, it's the highest form of faith. You see, waiting refines motives. It exposes what you really want. At first, you pray for results, but over time, you begin to crave relationship. The question shifts from, when will it happen, to, who am I becoming while I wait? That shift is where transformation begins. The waiting room of God feels long because He is building something eternal. Quick blessings fade, and instant answers don't last. But what's formed slowly through prayer, patience, and quiet surrender remains unshakable. The roots of oak trees grow deep before their branches ever touch the sky. So does your purpose. There will come a day when you'll look back and thank God for the delay. You'll realize that if He had answered too soon, the blessing would have crushed you instead of completed you. Maturity was hidden in the waiting. Clarity was born in the pause. Every silence holds a message. Sometimes it's God saying, "Not yet." Other times, it's Him whispering, "I'm working on something better." The problem isn't that you're waiting, it's that you think nothing is happening. But faith is movement in disguise. The stillness of heaven is not inactivity, it's precision. Think of the archer pulling back his bow. The backward tension is what launches the arrow forward. The harder the pull, the farther the flight. That's what waiting does, it draws you back, so destiny can propel you further than you imagined. You may be tired. You may feel stretched. But you are not stuck. You are being positioned. Even delays obey divine instruction. You are exactly where you need to be, learning lessons that acceleration could never teach. Chosen one. You must understand, delay is not denial. God's promises do not expire, they mature. And maturity requires time. The weight of the promise determines the length of the process. Heavy crowns take longer to mold. You might not hear trumpets announcing your progress, but heaven's clock is still ticking in perfect rhythm. What you think is stillness is actually synchronization, heaven aligning every detail so that when the door opens, you won't have to knock twice. So, rest in the waiting. Don't rush what needs time to bloom. The flower doesn't open faster because someone watches it. It opens when light touches it. Your season will come, exactly on schedule. Exactly when your soul is ready to carry what's coming. And when it does, you'll realize that the waiting was never wasted. It was worship in disguise. Every unanswered prayer was a seed, not a silence. What you thought was buried has only been planted deeper for greater fruitfulness. The harvest is already forming beneath the surface. So breathe. Let patience finish its holy work. When the time arrives, what once felt delayed will reveal itself as perfect timing written by divine hands. There is a war that no one else can see, a battlefield that doesn't spill blood on earth but tears within the soul. It doesn't roar like thunder or clash like armies. Yet, it decides destinies. The battlefield is your mind. Every thought that rises, every memory that lingers, every fear that whispers it, all fights for the same thing, control of your peace. You have felt it, haven't you? the tug between faith and fear, hope and despair, light and shadow. Some days you wake up with clarity. Other days the fog creeps in so quietly that you almost don't notice. The battle is subtle, but it's constant. And its goal isn't just to break you, it's to blind you. The enemy doesn't need to destroy your future if he can distract your focus. If he can fill your mind with noise, he can pull you away from the truth that would have set you free. That's why the greatest war you'll ever fight won't happen around you. It will happen inside you. The apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 5, "We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ." Your mind was designed to be a sanctuary, not a battlefield. But over time, unguarded thoughts have built strongholds, patterns that repeat, lies that sound true because they've been rehearsed so long. The battle for your mind is about reclaiming sacred space. Every thought must be weighed, tested, and either released or redeemed. It begins quietly. A single negative thought slips in unnoticed. "I'm not enough." It hides behind experience, wearing the mask of truth. Then another follows. "Nothing will ever change." Soon, what was once a whisper becomes a system, a fortress built from old fears and disappointments. But you were never meant to live behind those walls. Every stronghold begins with agreement. The enemy speaks, and we nod without realizing it. But freedom begins with awareness. When you catch the lie mid-sentence and refuse to finish it, the fortress begins to crack. Light enters through awareness. The moment you say, "That's not true anymore," heaven joins the fight. This battle is not fought with shouting or striving. It's fought with stillness, with truth, with consistency. You can't silence every thought that passes through your mind, but you can choose which ones are allowed to stay. Peace doesn't mean an empty mind, it means a guarded one. There's a reason Scripture calls your mind a renewed place. Renewal is a process, not a one-time event. You wash it daily with truth. You rebuild it daily with faith. The lies that once built your cage will eventually crumble when you replace them with what God has said about you. You are not weak for struggling. You are not broken for feeling weary. Every warrior who fights in the light has first fought in the shadows. The weight you feel is proof that heaven still trusts you with the front lines of your own freedom. Remember how Jesus spoke peace to the storm with a single phrase. That same authority rests within you, not because you are perfect, but because His Spirit lives in you. You can speak peace to your thoughts in the same way. Be still. When your mind obeys faith instead of fear, the atmosphere shifts. There was a woman once who said that every time anxiety came, she would whisper a psalm instead of her worry. At first, it felt forced, but over time, her mind began to change its rhythm. Worry came less often, peace stayed longer. That's how spiritual warfare looks in real life. It's quiet victory, repeated daily until it becomes nature. The mind doesn't heal in haste. It heals through habit. The same repetition that once built fear now builds peace. You cannot stop thoughts from coming, but you can train them where to rest. Every time you choose truth over fear, light gains ground in the unseen. You're not losing this battle. You're learning how to win differently. The chaos in your head is not the end of faith. It's the evidence of transformation. The more heaven advances, the louder darkness resists. But resistance only proves value. No one steals what has no worth. Chosen one. Guard your mind, the way a king guards his throne. It is where every victory begins. Don't let lies rent space in what God already paid for. The battle for your mind is not a curse. It's an invitation to see what authority really feels like. And when the noise rises again, remember, you're not your thoughts. You're the one who decides which thoughts get to stay. There are seasons when you look into the mirror and barely recognize yourself. You see the exhaustion, the traces of pain, the quiet evidence of battles fought in silence. But if you look a little longer, past the surface, you'll find something sacred, shining back at you, resilience. You are not who you were. The fire that tried to consume you has refined you instead. This is what it means to face the mirror of fire. It's not a reflection of appearance, but of becoming. Every hardship, every heartbreak, every unanswered prayer has been forming a new image within you, one that looks more like faith, more like endurance, more like the one who called you. When gold is placed in the furnace, it doesn't lose its value, it loses its impurities. That's what the heat has been doing to your soul. Every trial stripped away a layer of fear, every tear washed away a trace of doubt. What remains now is purer than before. The prophetic words preserved in the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9, declare, I will bring that group through the fire and make them pure. I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. You've walked through fires that left others trembling. You've stood in situations where logic said you shouldn't have survived. Yet here you are, not because the flames spared you, but because they recognized you. Fire doesn't destroy what's divine, it reveals it. Think of a potter's kiln. The clay pot goes in soft, shapeless, and vulnerable inside the heat. It hardens not into stone, but into purpose. Once it emerges, it cannot return to what it was. That's what this refining season has done. It has made you unbreakable. The people who left were part of the purification. Their absence isn't a wound, it's proof that the fire is doing its work. Some bonds are burned away so that new ones can be forged. You cannot hold on to everything when God is reshaping you. Letting go isn't failure, it's faith. You've been asking, why did it hurt so much? Because transformation always feels like breaking before it feels like building. Fire never asks for permission, it simply reveals truth. But in every burn, there is beauty. In every loss, there is language being written that your spirit will one day use to comfort someone else. The mirror of fire doesn't lie. It shows you the strength you never knew you had. It shows you the wisdom carved by pain, the grace forged by endurance. The old version of you could not carry what's coming next. That's why the heat had to come. You may not realize it yet. But what felt like destruction was divine refinement. The hand that allowed the fire also measured its temperature. You were never left unattended in the flames. Every second of heat had a purpose to separate gold from gravel, calling from comfort. There was a time when you feared the fire. Now you understand it. You've learned to walk through it without panic because you know what it produces. Every time the flames rise, you whisper, I've been here before. That's strength born from survival, wisdom born from surrender. And when you finally step out of this season, the glow around you won't just be light, it will be testimony. People will see something in your eyes they can't explain. That's the reflection of one who has met God in the fire and live to tell the story. So, stand tall. You no longer fear the heat because you've learned what it reveals. You are not burned. You are branded by purpose. If this truth burns gently in your spirit, comment, "I'm refined." End of teen. Not to announce your pain, but to acknowledge your process, to declare that the fire did not win. It awakened something divine within you. And as you whisper it, feel it settle. The flames didn't end you, they crowned you. Fire never leaves anything untouched. It either consumes or clarifies. And in your case, it clarified. It burned away the false names you once believed about yourself. Weak, forgotten, unworthy, and revealed what heaven always saw. Chosen, steady, refined. Every mark you carry now is not shame, it's story. Scars aren't symbols of loss but signatures of survival. They remind you that pain was not your final identity, it was your passage into purpose. So, when you see others trembling at their own fire, tell them what you've learned. The flames are not the end. They are the beginning of brilliance. Something happens the moment obedience catches flame. It's quiet. At first a flicker, a warmth you barely notice, and then suddenly, it becomes a fire that cannot be contained. You don't even realize how powerful that yes was until you feel the shift around you. Doors begin to open. Peace returns, and the air feels lighter. The awakening flame has begun. Obedience is like a match in darkness. It seems small, almost fragile, but when struck with sincerity, it has the power to set entire generations alight. That's what your yes does. It sends ripples through unseen realms, lighting torches in hearts you'll never meet. Your obedience is not just personal, it's generational. In the Gospel according to John, chapter 12, verse 24, we find these eternal words: "Unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone, but if it dies, it produces much fruit." That verse is the rhythm of divine fire. Something must surrender before something greater can grow. Every time you lay down your plan, every time you trust instead of control, every time you choose love over pride, you are sowing fire into the soil of eternity. Think of it like a lantern being passed from one hand to another. Each act of faith transfers light. Each step of obedience keeps the flame alive. That's how revival travels, not through noise, but through small, steady flames that refuse to die out. When you say yes, heaven responds in ways you can't always see. Circumstances begin to realign. People who once resisted you soften. Strength returns to your tired heart. What was once impossible becomes inevitable. That's the beauty of the awakening flame. It spreads quietly but relentlessly. And this is why every act of sharing, every gesture of connection, matters so deeply. When you tap like, when you share this message, when you subscribe to stay connected, you are fanning the flame forward. It's not about numbers or screens, it's about light, moving faster than darkness. It's the digital echo of divine fire, spreading one heart at a time. In a world that constantly takes, giving becomes an act of rebellion against despair. When you give, whether through time, prayer, or donation, you are adding wood to the fire. You're saying, let the light burn brighter. Let it reach further, like a traveler tossing another log into the campfire. Your offering doesn't belong to obligation, it belongs to warmth. Imagine the journey of a single spark. It begins small, rises with the wind, and touches another branch. Soon, a forest glows. That's what your support does. It transforms isolation into illumination. Someone, somewhere, sitting in their own night, may see this message because you kept the fire alive. And giving doesn't always mean money. Sometimes, generosity is attention. Sometimes, it's sharing a word that lifted you. Sometimes, it's whispering a prayer for those you'll never meet. Every form of giving is sacred because every spark contributes to the same flame. Picture a lighthouse by the sea. The keeper doesn't light it for himself. He lights it for those still lost on the waves. That's what this space is, a lighthouse for hearts adrift, and your kindness keeps its fire burning through long nights. When you support this mission, you become part of that lighthouse team, the unseen hands who keep hope visible. There is no pressure in this, only invitation. The same God who sparked this fire will sustain it. But he often chooses to work through willing hearts. Your generosity, your like, your share, your donation is not demanded. It's desired by heaven because it turns faith into motion. You may not see the full reach of your flame, but heaven does. Every small act echoes far beyond your moment. Every bit of light added here helps someone else find their own. And so, this is what we do. Together we keep the fire alive. We let our obedience become warmth, our connection become flame, our faith become light that refuses to fade. So, if this message has kindled something inside you, let your response be simple. Move the flame forward, whether by sharing, giving, or praying. Do it freely. Do it joyfully, because love, when given, never burns out. The awakening flame is spreading. Chosen one. The more you give light, the brighter you become. Fire doesn't ask who deserves its warmth, it simply burns, giving light to all who draw near. Let your life do the same. Shine without calculation. Love without hesitation. And as your flame grows, remember, it's not about being seen, but about seeing others find their way home through the glow you've kept alive. You may not have noticed it, but heaven has been closer to you than ever before. The signs have been subtle, a sudden calm in the middle of worry, a thought that feels too gentle to be your own, a sense of safety that has no explanation. That is not coincidence. Those are footsteps, holy ones. Angels have been walking beside you. They do not always appear with trumpets or wings. Sometimes they move quietly, through moments that feel ordinary. A stranger's smile, a word spoken at the right time, a delay that saves you from danger. These are the soft fingerprints of the unseen. Heaven's messengers do not always announce themselves, but they are never absent. The Epistle to the Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 2, records this gentle reminder: do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by so doing, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. This truth is simple, yet profound. Angels have always moved among us. They come not just to deliver, but to observe, not just to protect, but to remind. They are living proof that heaven is invested in your story. You are not walking through an empty world. You are walking through a battlefield guarded by light. Sometimes you feel their nearness most when you are weakest. The quiet strength that rises in moments of despair, the sudden peace that breaks panic apart. Those are traces of presence. Angels are not bound by distance, they are drawn by divine assignment. When God says, "Guard this one," they do not sleep until it is done. You might wonder why you cannot always sense them. The answer is simple. Faith sharpens perception. The unseen is not absent. It is waiting to be recognized. Faith is like light to them. It signals where to stand. The more you trust, the clearer their movements become. You have survived things that logic cannot explain. There were near accidents, last-minute changes, words that came to you just when you needed them. You called it luck, timing, intuition, but heaven called it intervention. There were moments designed to protect the fragile, sacred line of your destiny. Angels have stood between you and disaster more times than you will ever know. Sometimes they appear in dreams. Sometimes they whisper through the pages of Scripture. And sometimes they speak through people you least expect, the kind soul in a grocery line, the child who laughs when you feel broken, the voice that says, "It's going to be okay." These are not random acts of comfort. They are reminders that the kingdom of heaven is not distant, it is active, present, near. The world often forgets the unseen realm, but you, chosen one, cannot afford to. You live in two dimensions, one visible, one eternal. Angels are heaven's response to earth's chaos. They carry instructions, protection, and sometimes correction. When you sense a sudden conviction to turn away from something harmful, that's not coincidence. It's guidance. There was a story of a man who once walked home late at night. He crossed a bridge every evening after work. One night, he felt a strong pull in his chest, telling him to stop. He hesitated, stepped back, and in that moment, a truck lost control and smashed the railing where he would have been standing. He never saw anyone, but he felt a hand rest on his shoulder. Sometimes that's all it takes. A single touch from the unseen to preserve a lifetime of purpose. You may not always see wings, but you will see results. You'll notice that certain storms break before they reach you. That's not luck. It's coverage. You'll find strength you didn't have the night before. That's not willpower. It's reinforcement. Heaven sends what you need, even when you don't know how to ask for it. Angels are not to be worshipped. They are fellow servants in the same story. Their joy is to see you walk in obedience, to see you recognize the power that watches over you. They celebrate when you rise again, when you choose faith instead of fear, every time you stand firm. The heavens applaud quietly through their wings. The unseen realm rejoices not when you are perfect, but when you are aware. Awareness shifts everything. When you understand that heaven is near, loneliness loses its authority. When you realize that every prayer draws response, silence no longer feels empty. So walk with quiet confidence. You are not alone on this road. The unseen is not imaginary. It is simply hidden until faith pulls back the veil. You have unseen allies, heavenly reinforcements, and divine watchers who refuse to let your story end unfinished. And tonight, as you breathe and feel that peace wrap around you again, remember this: even when you are unaware, you are still surrounded. Heaven's army moves quietly but never idly. You have reached the moment where heaven begins to reveal symbols, numbers, signs, and patterns that carry meaning beyond logic. These are not coincidences, they are coordinates. When you see the same number, hear the same phrase, or feel the same nudge again and again. It is heaven's way of saying, pay attention. The world calls them coincidences. The Spirit calls them confirmations. You are being guided through language. Most people ignore the divine mathematics of destiny. Numbers are not empty symbols. They are the rhythm of creation. Even before the world began, God measured everything with order and precision: time, space, and purpose, all tied together by the same unseen code. As recorded in the book of Joshua, chapter 24, verse 15, "But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord." Oh, this verse carries the sound of decision, the moment when belief stops being theory and becomes declaration. Heaven always responds to decision. When you declare what side you stand on, the spiritual world realigns around your words. There are moments when your spirit senses something before your mind does a pull, a pattern, a stirring. It's as if creation itself is trying to whisper the same truth over and over until you recognize it. That's because God often speaks through repetition. He repeats until revelation replaces doubt. You may have noticed certain numbers appearing more than once lately on clocks, receipts, signs, or even dreams. That isn't meaningless. Heaven uses patterns to confirm direction. When you are unsure, these small divine signals are like breadcrumbs leading you home. You don't have to chase them. You only need to notice. Awareness is partnership. Every number heaven sends carries an invitation. For some, it's a reminder to rest. For others, a call to move forward. And for a few, it's a warning to prepare. Numbers aren't magic, they're messages. They remind you that nothing in your life is random, that every detail is under divine orchestration. Chosen one, your journey has been marked by decisions. You've had to choose trust over fear, surrender over control, faith over frustration. Each choice has written a new chapter in your destiny. Heaven honors those decisions. The number connected to this moment is a sign of renewal, a declaration that what once broke you will now build you. You've been standing between old cycles and new beginnings. It's time to end what no longer serves your growth and embrace what leads to peace. The doors that closed did not reject you. They redirected you. And the ones about to open will make sense of everything that hurt before. God is reordering your path, and the evidence is already around you. The things that once drained you now feel distant, and the people who truly belong in your next chapter are beginning to appear. You are walking into divine alignment, step by step, number by number, day by day. Remember this: obedience opens doors that hustle never could. You can't force what's divine. You can only flow with it. The more you trust, the smoother the current becomes. Your steps are not small, they're synchronized. You are walking in rhythm with eternity. And now, this is your moment to anchor what heaven has begun. Every prophetic symbol, every number, every whisper has led to this. Second, the recognition that you are not lost. You are being led. So pause here. Let this truth settle in your chest. Heaven knows your coordinates. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. If this word speaks directly to your spirit, comment 888 below, not as superstition, but as declaration, because 888 symbolizes new beginnings and divine renewal. It is your way of saying, I am ready for what's next. I align with heaven's rhythm. When you type it, Do it with intention. See it as a spiritual signature, your silent agreement with the next season of your calling. You are stepping into a chapter that glows with order, favor, and restoration. Heaven has confirmed it. You don't have to guess anymore, you only have to walk it out. The number is not the power, faith is. Numbers are simply vessels, containers, carrying divine reminders that heaven still speaks in ways creation can understand. When you recognize them, you are acknowledging that you're paying attention to the whisper of God. Each repetition is a lesson. Every time a pattern appears, it trains your eyes to see purpose where others see routine. It rewires your spirit to notice divine fingerprints on ordinary days. That awareness is what matures. A chosen one, it turns coincidence into confirmation. So when you see 888 again, don't rush past it. Pause. Smile. Whisper akiet. Thank you. It's heaven saying, I'm still guiding you. Keep walking. There comes a point in every calling when mercy pauses. Not because God has stopped loving, but because he is waiting for response. Heaven's patience is endless. Yet even endless patience has a moment where it steps aside and lets choice speak. You are standing close to that threshold now, the place where decisions echo louder than prayers. The heart of God is merciful. But mercy is not meant to be misused. It is an open door, not an endless hallway. For too long, you have carried questions, half obedience, and hesitation. The Spirit has whispered, nudged, warned, and yet fear still built walls around your yes. But now, the sound of that gentle warning grows stronger. It is not meant to frighten you, it is meant to wake you. The voice of God resounds through the book of Hosea, chapter 10, verse 12. Sow righteousness for yourselves. Reap the fruit of unfailing love. And break up your unplowed ground, for it is time to seek the Lord, until he comes and showers his righteousness on you. This verse is not a suggestion, it is an alarm. The unplowed ground represents the heart that has been hardened by delay and disappointment. It's time to dig again, to loosen the soil of surrender. You cannot plant seeds of destiny in hardened earth. The rain of favor is coming, but it falls only on ground that's been turned over in repentance and readiness. You know what God has been asking of you. Maybe it's forgiveness you've resisted, or an act of faith you've delayed. Perhaps it's the quiet step you've postponed because it requires trust more than certainty. The hesitation has cost you peace. Heaven's voice is clear. It's time. Mercy is not gone, it's waiting. Like a river held behind a dam, it builds pressure until obedience releases it. The longer you wait, the heavier it grows. But when you say yes, everything begins to flow again. That's the rhythm of divine timing. Obedience opens what disobedience delays. Many have mistaken the stillness of heaven for rejection, but silence is often protection. God waits until the moment you can handle the weight of what he's about to release. He withholds not to punish, but to prepare. Yet when preparation is complete, delay becomes disobedience. The grace that once covered hesitation now calls you to act. The world around you is shifting faster than ever. Lines between truth and illusion are blurring, and the Spirit is gathering those who still listen. You are among them. That's why conviction feels so sharp right now. Heaven sharpens conviction before it sharpens destiny. There is urgency in the air, not panic, but purpose. The clock of mercy is not ticking down to punishment, it's ticking toward promise. But promises only activate when the heart aligns with the will of God. You cannot walk into divine fullness with divided loyalty. Look at your own story. You've seen what happens when you try to control outcomes, the exhaustion, the cycles, the sense of being stuck. Control is counterfeit peace. Real peace only comes through surrender. The longer you resist, the louder the noise becomes. But when you let go, even chaos starts to obey your calm. Chosen one. This moment is not a threat, it's an invitation. Heaven is not shouting, it's pleading softly. The Spirit does not condemn, but it convicts. And conviction is mercy's final language. It means the door is still open, but not forever. Every story of redemption has a turning point. This is yours. You are one act of obedience away from the release you've been praying for. You are one surrender away from peace that won't vanish when the world shakes again. The path is narrow, but it's safe. It's the same road, walked by those who refuse to let compromise dim their crown. There is beauty, even in warning, because God only warns those He still intends to use. If you can still feel conviction, you are not abandoned, you are chosen. The dullness of heart is far more dangerous than the ache of conviction. The ache means heaven still speaks your name. So listen, not out of fear, but out of reverence. The time to choose is now. The ground must be broken. The seed must be planted. The yes must be spoken. Heaven has paused everything else to let you hear this one thing. Mercy waits. But not forever. Mercy is still within reach, stretching its hand toward you even now. Don't let the moment fade into hesitation. Every heartbeat is an invitation answer before the silence becomes permanent. When you move, heaven moves. The door is open. The light is waiting. Step through before the next breath passes. Destiny does not wait forever. The world is shifting beneath your feet. What once seemed stable now trembles, and the thrones of the proud begin to tilt. The unseen realm is rearranging power. Kingdoms of ego are falling, while crowns of humility rise. It's not chaos, it's divine order restoring itself. Heaven is performing a quiet revolution. You may not notice it at first because the shaking doesn't start in palaces, it begins in hearts. When God changes seasons, He first changes people. Thrones fear, pride, and self-dependence within the soul before He reshapes the visible world around it. That's what's happening in you. You are being reseated in authority. Not human authority, but heavenly alignment, according to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 23. Pride brings a person low, but the lowly in spirit gain honor. This is the law of spiritual gravity. The higher pride climbs, the harder it falls. The deeper humility bows, the higher it is lifted. The kingdom of heaven never rewards arrogance, it crowns surrender. You've been learning that lesson quietly. Every time life humbled you, heaven was preparing you for a throne that doesn't wobble. Look around. Some who mocked your obedience are starting to face the collapse of what they built on self-will. It's not your job to celebrate their fall, it's your calling to learn from their story. The shift of thrones is not revenge, it's reordering. God removes what's false to make space for what's faithful. You've been overlooked for so long that invisibility became your normal. Yet, in this divine exchange, The hidden are about to be highlighted, not for glory, but for purpose. Those who have bowed low, who've served quietly without applause, are being called to the front lines. The crown that humility forged is ready. Do you feel the atmosphere changing? It's the sound of reversal, the same way seasons turn. Destinies are turning too. Where once you chased validation, now validation will find you. Where once doors refused to open, now they will swing wide, not because you forced them, but because you finally fit them. Heaven only opens doors to those shaped to walk through them. When God shifts thrones, it's never random. Every exchange of power has reason. Sometimes he allows the proud to rule long enough for the humble to learn patience. And when the humble are ready, he raises them not through spectacle, but through steady elevation. You will rise differently without noise, without pride, without vengeance. Remember David's story. Before he wore a crown, he learned to hold a harp. Before he faced Goliath, he faced lions and bears in secret. The hidden battles were rehearsals for visible victory. The same pattern lives in you. Your private endurance is about to turn into public influence. Don't mistake this season's stillness for stagnation. The quiet is God's final touch before release. When you're called to lead, you don't need to announce it. Authority recognized by heaven doesn't depend on human confirmation. You will know it by peace. The proof of divine promotion is not noise, it's rest. There will come a time soon when others begin to seek your wisdom. They won't even know why, but something about your presence will carry weight. That's the mark of someone who's been refined in fire and lifted by grace. You won't need to compete for attention. You'll simply carry it. And when that shift happens, remember this truth. Authority without compassion becomes tyranny. You're being trusted, not just with position, but with people. Every crown comes with responsibility to serve, to uplift, to protect. Power in the kingdom is never about dominance, it's about stewardship. As the proud stumble, don't gloat. Pray for them, because mercy isn't just for the fallen, it's what keeps the rising pure. Every promotion carries a test. Can you still kneel once you've been elevated? The shaking around you is heaven's rearrangement of seats. Some thrones are being emptied, others filled, and in the midst of it, God whispers, stay humble, stay steady, stay faithful. That's how you keep what he gives. This is the shift of thrones, a season where crowns change heads, and hearts are measured more than achievements. Keep your eyes lifted, not for status, but for purpose. The kingdom is being reordered, and your place within it is already written. When the dust settles, humility will stand crowned, while arrogance fades into silence. What endures now isn't fame or title, but the heart that stayed faithful in obscurity. Hold steady in this turning. The throne prepared for you isn't made of gold, it's built from obedience, carved by surrender, and sealed by grace. There is a stirring across the earth, an awakening that whispers through dreams and prayers, through cities and wildernesses alike. The chosen ones are beginning to rise, each carrying a fragment of light that fits into heaven's greater pattern. You are one of them. This isn't pride, it's prophecy being fulfilled quietly through those who still listen. You've walked through loneliness that felt like exile, through confusion that almost broke your faith. But isolation was never punishment, it was preparation. God often trains his warriors in silence so their voices carry purity when they finally speak. You have been learning the language of endurance, the sacred dialect of those who keep believing, even when no one sees. The time for hiding is ending. The remnant, the faithful few who refuse to compromise, are being called out of the shadows. Heaven is assembling its quiet army, not to dominate, but to heal, to rebuild, to restore. You can feel it, can't you? That subtle current under your ribs. The sense that the air itself has changed. It's not your imagination. The trumpet isn't always loud. Sometimes it sounds like conviction in your chest, as recorded in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 11. The Lord thunders at the head of his army. His forces are beyond number, and mighty is the army that obeys his command. This verse isn't about war as the world defines it. It's about alignment. The real battle is for hearts, and obedience is the weapon. Every act of faith, every word of kindness, every step of courage becomes part of heaven's advance. You are not standing alone. You are part of a living symphony of purpose. The remnant rises quietly, like stars appearing one by one. You might not know the others yet, but you will recognize them when you meet. Their eyes will carry peace. Their presence will feel like home. They are the ones who have learned to love without condition, to forgive quickly, to stand when others bow to fear. Together, they will turn mourning into melody. But for this movement to grow, it must stay connected, like a river made of thousands of small streams. Its power lies in union. Each message you carry, each word of hope, each testimony, it all flows together to create a tide that touches hearts far beyond what one voice could reach. That's why what you do here matters. When you tap like, share what resonates, or subscribe to remain within this circle, you are not following content. You are adding your drop to a greater river. The current becomes stronger with every willing heart that flows with it. Light spreads when lamps are lit side by side. And generosity true. Quiet generosity is the fragrance of faith. When you give, you are not losing something. You are planting part of yourself into the soil of hope. It's like laying another stone in the path for someone behind you who's too tired to walk alone. You are creating safe ground for another soul to find their way home. Imagine a lighthouse by the sea. It burns through long, cold nights so ships don't crash in the dark. But even the brightest light needs oil. Your support, your kindness, your prayers, your gifts becomes that oil. It keeps the flame burning for those still lost in the fog. You don't owe it, you offer it, because love, when pure, is always voluntary. Nothing here is demanded. The beauty of real giving is that it remains an act of freedom. When you give, it isn't a transaction, it's a testimony. It says, I believe light still matters. Even a single seed can bloom into shade for someone you'll never meet. If these words stir your heart, leave a simple comment below. One word, one spark like light. It's not ritual, it's resonance. It's how heaven sees unity moving through screens and cities, reminding us we're still part of the same flame. If you've ever wondered whether small acts matter, they do. A whisper can calm a storm. A gesture can ignite courage. The remnant doesn't rise through noise, but through consistency, the steady rhythm of hearts choosing light again and again. So thank you for being here, for listening, for sharing what stirs something sacred in you, for giving when you feel led, not when asked, for being part of the quiet revolution of faith that is changing more lives than you'll ever know. The world is darker than it's ever been, but that just makes your glow more visible. Stay connected to the flame. Keep spreading warmth in your own way, through love, through truth, through light freely given. And as you leave this moment, remember, every time you let your light move through another, heaven calls it worship. Keep the lamps burning. Chosen one, the remnant is rising, and the dawn is near. There comes a moment when everything that once broke you begins to make sense. The shattered pieces that you carried for years no longer look like fragments, they look like design. What once seemed like chaos now reveals its pattern. You begin to see how the pain shaped you, how loss carved out space for grace, how disappointment stretched your heart wide enough to hold compassion. This is the mystery of divine transformation. You are no longer the wounded one wandering through ruins. You are the crowned warrior emerging from them. The very things that crushed you have become the armor that now protects you. The fire that burned you has forged your strength. The tears that fell like rivers have watered the soil of your purpose. It's strange, isn't it? How suffering becomes the sculptor of strength. How the seasons that made you question everything turned out to be the very ones that taught you how to stand. The process was never meant to destroy, it was meant to crown. As written in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verses 7 and 8, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord will award to me. You fought that good fight. It wasn't glamorous. It didn't happen on a stage or under applause. It happened in lonely rooms, in tearful prayers, in choices no one saw but heaven. You fought every time you decided to love again after betrayal. You fought every time you chose forgiveness over bitterness. You fought every time you stood up one more time after falling. Now, the season of crowning has begun, not with jewels or thrones, but with quiet authority. The warrior's crown is not made of gold, it's made of endurance. Every scar upon your soul is a jewel heaven recognizes. The crown fits because the crushing shaped it. Think of a blacksmith hammering a blade. Every strike against the metal strengthens it. Without the blows, the sword remains soft. You've been through that same furnace. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every trial was a hammer shaping you for purpose. You didn't break, you hardened in holiness. People see your peace now, but they don't see the war it took to earn it. They see calm eyes, but they don't know how many nights you cried before the dawn. The crowned warrior doesn't boast in victory. They walk with humility because they remember the price of survival. The crown isn't for vanity, it's for visibility. It isn't about shining brighter than others, but about reflecting where the light came from. You are called to wear your healing as testimony, not as triumph. The world doesn't need perfection. It needs proof that grace still restores. Your crown doesn't erase your pain, it redeems it. It says, yes, I've been through it, and yet I still rise. It's a symbol of endurance, of faith that refused to die. And the best part? This crown isn't temporary. It's not made by human hands. It's eternal, sealed by every act of obedience you ever offered in the dark. You have authority now, an authority born from empathy, forged in fire. sealed with mercy. You can walk into broken places and bring peace because you understand their language. You've lived it. That's the mark of the crowned warrior. They don't just speak healing, they carry it. There will be moments ahead when others look to you for strength. They'll ask how you kept faith through storms, how you still smile after so much loss. You won't need to preach. Your presence will answer. Because true authority doesn't demand attention, it radiates assurance. Don't hide your crown out of false humility. You didn't earn it through pride, but through perseverance. The light on your life doesn't boast, it blesses. Walk in it without apology. You are not who you were. You've been refined into who you were meant to be. This is the reward of endurance, the calm that follows the battle, the confidence that comes from survival, the crown that fits perfectly because it was molded by pain and patience. You've fought the good fight. You've finished many races. But the journey isn't over. The crown doesn't mark the end. It marks a new beginning. You wear it not to rest, but to rise again. This time stronger, wiser, and filled with peace that no storm can steal. So stand tall, crowned warrior. You are the evidence that God turns ashes into authority and wounds into weapons of light. Every battle you've faced has become a badge of glory. The fire didn't end you, it anointed you. The broken pieces didn't scatter, they formed the crown. And now, the air grows still again. You can feel it, the weight of completion settling like evening light. The 21st minute has arrived, and with it comes something sacred. Kiet, unshakable. Destiny isn't a distant promise anymore. It's a presence standing right in front of you, looking back through the reflection of every trial you've endured. This is the final trumpet minute, not the sound of ending, but the sealing of everything that was spoken over your life. Heaven doesn't mark endings with silence, it marks them with stillness. There is a difference. Silence can feel empty, but stillness is full of presence, of promise, of peace. You've reached the point where striving ceases, where obedience and purpose become one breath. You have traveled through wilderness, fire, and storm. You have heard the whisper behind the wind, endured the waiting, and felt the refining. Now the crown sits not on your head, but within your spirit. This is the moment where heaven says, "It is done." End of clues. In the revelation given to John, chapter 3, verse 11, the Spirit declares, "I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have, so that no one will take your crown." End of clues. That is the message of this final moment. Hold fast. The purpose of the crown is not merely to signify victory, but to remind you of stewardship. What has been given to you must now be guarded. The world will try to distract you with noise, but the wise protect what was birthed in stillness. You've walked through seasons that taught you how to fight. Now you enter the one that teaches you how to keep what you've won. The crown glimmers not because of gold, but because it carries the reflection of your perseverance. It shines with the light of endurance, the glow of a soul that refused to quit. The 21st minute is not a countdown, it's a confirmation. It means that heaven's clock has reached its appointed alignment with your obedience. Everything that had to break has broken. Everything that needed to rise has risen. You have been tested, proven, and now sealed. But sealing doesn't mean the end of growth. It means the end of wandering. The direction is clear. The noise has quieted. The fog has lifted. What once felt confusing now feels divine. This is how peace sounds. It's the sound of alignment. You might notice the world around you hasn't changed much yet. The bills still need to be paid. The deadlines still exist. People may still misunderstand you. But something deeper has shifted. What's changed is you. The noise no longer controls you. And that's the real miracle. This is what it means to live sealed by destiny, to stand unbothered by chaos. Rooted in the unshakable calm of knowing you're exactly where heaven needs you. The 21st minute isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more aware. It's not about rushing ahead, but resting in what's already been established. The light inside you no longer flickers. It glows steadily now. It no longer asks for permission to shine. It simply illuminates. This is the transformation that the whole journey led toward. The moment when you realize you are no longer waiting for divine purpose. You are divine purpose. Walking, breathing, existing in human form. You have seen the pattern by now. The storm came, but peace followed. The silence grew long, but the whisper arrived. The fire raged. But refinement émerged. The waiting felt endless, but fulfillment was waiting on you. Everything fits now. The pain, the pauses, the unexpected detours. They were all part of the map leading you here. Destiny isn't a single event. It's the sum of every yes you've ever given. It's every time you chose to stand instead of surrender, to forgive instead of fight, to believe instead of break. Each of those moments was a trumpet blast in the unseen, declaring, they're still standing. And now heaven answers with its own trumpet, not a literal sound, but a shift of vibration through your spirit that says, sealed, the race has been acknowledged, the faith has been kept, the story continues. But from here on, it unfolds with purpose rather than searching. So breathe in the stillness. This is the air of completion. You've reached the moment heaven planned long before you knew how to ask for it. The 21st minute was never about urgency, it was about revelation. And now that you see, you will never see the same again. You are sealed by purpose, crowned by perseverance, and surrounded by peace that doesn't need proof. What began as survival has become sovereignty. You no longer walk uncertain, you walk anointed. The trumpet minute doesn't close your story, it commissions it. The light now moves with you. And now, chosen one, the message comes to rest. The circle closes, but you are no longer the same. You have walked through revelation, through silence, through refining fire, and what remains now is peace, steady and quiet. This is not the end of your story, it's the beginning of your becoming. You carry something sacred now, a spark that longs to move. When you tap like or share this message, you're not spreading content, you're passing flame. One simple act of light can travel farther than you'll ever see. Somewhere, someone will breathe easier because you did. If these words found a home in your heart, leave a single comment, one word that feels alive for you tonight. It might be light, faith, or still here. Each word is a small lantern lifted to the sky, helping other souls find the path you've already walked. Subscribe if you wish to keep walking together. Not from obligation, but from connection, because the light grows brighter when we journey side by side. And if you feel led to give, know that your generosity is oil for this flame. It doesn't buy blessings, it sustains warmth. It keeps the lighthouse burning for those still adrift. Every offering, no matter how small, becomes part of a chain of kindness that circles the world unseen. Thank you for staying, for listening, for believing. Go now with quiet confidence. Carry the spark. Share the warmth. You were never chosen to keep the fire. You were chosen to spread it.